Why would a Star Wars channel cover Beetlejuice Beetlejuice? Why not? Nothing from Kennedy Film currently warrants analysis. Beetlejuice Beetlejuice won't approach Empire and Jedi in terms of pop culture influence and technological innovation. But like them, it was more ambitious and complex than its forerunner as it expanded cast and lore. Though it had minor problems, which I will cover, overall, the sequel was a weird, funny, and felicitous return from the grave. I'll analyze the IP's second life next. Welcome to Galactic Initiative. I'm your host, Jeff. Unlike The Matrix Resurrections, Jurassic World, Hocus Pocus 2, and other soulless cash grabs that exploited nostalgia, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice recaptured its magic after a long hiatus. I've observed criticism, but I recommend the film with only two caveats.
It's showtime.
Its best quality was humor. I laughed throughout. It poked fun at its own characters and mythology, as well as Hollywood New Age beliefs and causes, and Disney. Beetlejuice Beetlejuice never took itself too seriously in a clever fifth wall best of Tim Burton way. Michael Keaton was magnificent. He hasn't lost a step, and he's 73 years old now. If you watch the sequel, you'll relish his performance regardless of your final review. Beetlejuice premiered in 1988, but Keaton's titular character, the main attraction, was possibly better in the second installment. Some complained about his screen time because they expected more. I understand, but in the original, Keaton had less than 20 minutes, so knocking the film for low juice is unfair in my opinion. My first caveat: the humor wasn't for children. It had physical gags such as lip syncing, but its subject matter and dialogue were lost on my oldest daughter, who giggled through the first flick days earlier. For this reason, it won't have the same universal appeal, because it wasn't accessible to all ages. Also, a few of its plot twists were dark and would, I suppose, frighten young viewers. Heed its PG-13 rating in light of the classic's PG rating.
Now bring a little parts down here. Hell, we got plenty of snakes and lizards for them to play with. There's no problem with that at all.
The director's influence was obvious from the sets, cinematography, practical effects, and ironic or iconic songs. MacArthur Park, Tragedy, and the Soul Train theme served purposes equivalent to Harry Belafonte's Day-O and Jump in the Line. I savored my return to Winter River, Connecticut and the afterlife, both familiar yet broader for amusing, deliberate impetuses. Again, the town, attic, and model were integral parts of the narrative. Burton's settings function like characters in his movies, and when he delivers, his aesthetic is distinctive and fascinating. For example, a small church on the edge of town, an unassuming house on a main street, and a station for Death's ultimate transition seamlessly join the IP's list of focal points. Burton has a unique talent for hinting at spookiness early, then reconfiguring, relighting, and reframing to provide spookiness late. As a director from the past century, he preferred actual locations, each for multiple scenes, rather than dozens of CGI surrounds. Beetlejuice Beetlejuice was a throwback and benefited in this respect.
That is why I won't do 2 shows a night anymore, babe. I won't do.
The story has been faulted. Too many characters, too many subplots, lack of a through line, the events between films took Lydia out of character. Where were Adam and Barbara Maitland? I have a rebuttal and a caveat. First, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice was wacky by design, but it was a cohesive story. In fact, despite added complexity, the number of characters didn't change. The original featured Adam, Barbara, Lydia, Delia, and Charles, with Otho and Beetlejuice in support. The sequel featured Astrid, Lydia, Delia, and Rory, with Wolf, Dolores, and Beetlejuice in support. Character relevance and development weren't problems, as some have mistakenly indicated. Every role and subplot serviced the main plot and coalesced expertly for the climax. Lydia hadn't lived a joyful life, but unlike sequel Skywalker and Solo, she was Lydia, same personality and values. Her daughter Astrid reflected her strengths and weaknesses but quickly established a distinct identity. I thought Jenna Ortega was excellent. The film deftly drew on the dynamic of Delia and Charles as Lydia's out-of-touch guardians, for Lydia and Rory as Astrid's out-of-touch guardians. Like poetry, it rhymes. The more consideration you give to Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, the more you realize its resourcefulness. Oblique pieces such as Delia's Grief Collective, Charles's Monument, Halloween, and The Small Church suddenly fit together in the larger puzzle at story's end. And the film had a few great twists, which further justify its subplots. Many claim to have foreseen the biggest one. So be it. I suspected, but confirmation didn't in any way ruin its aim or execution. If you are a fan of the first, you'll recognize ingenious callbacks. I'll mention only one: Juno's comment about dying in Italy. Hilarious. My second caveat: the passage of time between productions left Tim Burton and the writers with real-world dilemmas. They couldn't cast Alec Baldwin as Adam or Jeffrey Jones as Charles. They couldn't pretend Lydia enjoyed a happily ever after. If you don't know why, search the trio online. The opening scenes acquaint audiences with fictitious off-screen background, which, though arguable, was unavoidable. I thought the creators chose advantageous solutions for their challenges. I confess to feeling skepticism for the first 15-ish minutes, despite laughing. Then, everything fell into place. Wolf was the best new character. Bob, Dolores, and the baby will be remembered for years to come. I found only a few inconsistencies. For example, Rory's flight from the house didn't impact his state of mind at the church. I'm dancing around spoilers, so forgive me. You'll understand if you partake. In short, I would debate those with plot criticisms.
What are your qualifications?
Well, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I traveled quite extensively. I lived through the Black Plague, and I had a pretty good time during that.
Go see Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Expect a quirky, comical, and occasionally dark adventure. I think you'll have fun. Reflect on the film afterward. As sequels go, it ranks in the upper echelon of my experience. No, it's not Empire or Jedi, but it's on par for its IP. Keaton is the man. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check out Galactic Initiative for all things Star Wars.
Galactic Initiative is not authorized or endorsed by Lucasfilm Limited. The name Star Wars and all related materials are registered trademarks of Lucasfilm Limited, a subsidiary of the Walt Disney Company, all rights reserved. Galactic Initiative is a registered trademark, and other product and company names are trademarks of their respective holders. Use does not imply affiliation or endorsement.